anyone who has lost a loved one, you know how traumatic it is, but the idea of we don't know what happened to that person, you know, that leaves an incredible hole in your life. And so it was very important for us to help to bring closure to those family members.
You guys, you don't know it yet, but you're going to get sucked into these cases. It's going to become a personal attachment to you as you're working on the active cases.
It's a female skull. The age ranges from 20 to 45, and it's a Hispanic female. And that is what we know, as far as what's on paper.
I just know that my skull was a male, 20 to 24 years old, Hispanic origin, and found on the Arizona-U.S. border.
He's male, age 30 to 55. He was found on the Arizona-Mexico border, and his time of death was around 2017 or 2018. 2 years ago, this was a person living, walking around, talking, and now he's lost.
The driving force, why I think I have the coolest job in the world, is answering those questions for these families that are frozen in uncertainty. All of the resources have been exhausted, DNA testing has been inconclusive, so as a forensic artist, I am the last ditch effort to get these victims identified.
They build the anatomy on the figure, on the skull. Everything that defines the way we each look individually is all in the skull.
Sculpt the muscles, set the tissue depth markers that are landmarks on the skull to tell us how thick the tissue is on different locations on the skull. Then using that skull to dictate how the nose looked, how the lips, the ears, the eyelids, the eyebrows, the hairstyle, all those things, those pieces that come together to form that face of that nameless victim. So it's a process of art and science that come together to reveal these faces that have been lost.
Originally, when we started working with open New York City cases, the goal was to help bring closure to families, to help solve crimes, to help identify victims. That was the original goal. And then last year, I was reading about the migrant population that was coming across the border, and people were dying in the desert and in the mountains, and they too had lost their names. And that's when we got together with the Pima County medical examiner, Bruce Anderson in that office, and we started trying to help them identify cases from Arizona. They could scan a skull in Arizona, email us the file, and we could print a reproduction of the skull here in New York City.
I couldn't begin to imagine what this woman may have gone through.
I know people die of exposure either to the heat or it gets cold at night. And so you'd have to really believe in something. You'd have to believe in a better life to make that journey.
I am really curious in how this kind of art, what it can do to humanize the issue of people crossing the border, and especially with so much talk of Trump's wall and everything. I think I'm mostly just curious and hopeful, I guess, that I can do the skull justice. It makes me wonder who misses him, I guess. Was he with, I don't know, did other people that he went with make it? Or was he the only one trying to come to the U.S. and was his family waiting in Mexico or wherever they were?
We want somebody to see that image and say, holy cow, I know who that is. We'll put a face on it in hopes to spark that recognition and give that victim back to their family, give them their identity back. It's not just a skull sitting on the shelf. It's somebody's mom, it's somebody's child, somebody's dad, somebody's uncle, somebody's brother. They've lost their identity, and we can give it back to them.